Alright, so we're about to do an oil change on the Puma Jakester here, of course from Hill Moped and Scooters, and I've got Bob Hill with me to help show us how to do an oil change and just how easy it is on a moped or a scooter, especially on the Puma Jakester. Let's take a look.
Oh, it's just it's nice to do it when the engine's warm, and then the oil flows out a little bit easier and faster.
Okay.
And always just check the oil level kind of before we start. Just make sure that we're not having any issues there.
And that dipstick is just right?
Dipstick's right here. And it just
right down there?
It just twists in. There's a little O-ring on there that keeps the oil from leaking out. So when you put it back in, you don't want to twist too hard, just snug. Otherwise you'll split that O-ring and then the oil will leak out of there. So you just get it snug, and that's how you check the oil. That's something you want to kind of do often as you're riding around, just to make sure that the oil level is where it's at. And you want to get it right when it changes, where it changes in the dimension there. That's full, and this would be halfway down that line there. So every time you get 3/4 or halfway down, then you need to be concerned about that and probably add some oil to it. Either you're burning some oil on an older engine, or you might be leaking some oil somewhere. So that's something you kind of want to watch. By changing oil more often, you're going to get more life out of that engine. It's going to have to get more miles on it. So it's going to perform, especially in the break-in period. So to do that, it's going to be warm. So you want to make sure you don't touch the muffler or any of the other parts. Everything on the scooters is metric. So you're going to use a 17mm wrench. You're just going to put it on drain plug, and it's you're gonna get some oil on. Yes, this way it is. Have some grease rags laying around. You're just gonna let it come out. Always put something down on the ground so you don't pollute. Sometimes it runs out like that when it's a little warmer. We're gonna get more oil out of it when it's a little warmer. You're not going to get it all out. The engine holds probably about 32 ounces of oil, but there's places in the engine that you can't get it completely out of it. So you're going to get about 28 ounces or so out of it.
It's pretty typical to a standard car oil change.
Yep. Basically, it's the same type of oil that you put in your cars. Inside this is the oil plug that I took out with the wrench. And then inside there is a little filter. And this catches any of the contaminants, especially on the break-in. The first 1,000 miles, you're going to have some metal shavings. You might not see them, but you might have a few in there. So what you want to do is you want to kind of clean that out. I just use some brake cleaner. And if you have an air hose around somewhere, you can kind of blow that out and just kind of visually inspect and make sure there's no big chunks, little pieces of metal. When the engine first starts running, you'll have some normal wear and tear in there and catch a little metal shavings, those type of things. That's why we're changing this oil, to get that out of there, just in case. You might not see it, but I just kind of clean this out a little bit. This is the drain plug. Once again, there's a little rubber O-ring on that. When you're putting it back in, you don't want to tighten it too tight, so it goes back in one way. So just gotta kind of hold it up like this, and just find the threads. And I just kind of hand tighten it, and then just turn it this a little bit till it's snug. So it gives you just a little bit of resistance, and then wipe everything off. So now you gotta fill it. So you need a nice long funnel like this. You can buy it at the hardware store. And I use Castrol 10W30. Same oil you would use in your car. This is what we call dinosaur oil, or fossil fuel oil, traditional oil. First 1,000 miles, you can use traditional oil, and then after that you can continue to use that, or you can go to a synthetic oil like an AMS oil or a Mobil 1. So on break-in period, I like to see the engine oil get changed at 100 miles, which we're doing right now, at 300, again at 500, and then at 1,000. Then you can go every 1,000 after that.
All right.
I just think those extra oil changes in the first 1,000 miles is still very cheap insurance. You want to pour this in slowly too, because you've got displacement going on in there where air's trying to come out. So if you try to dump that in all at once, you'll end up getting oil all over the place. You don't want to overfill it. That's a bad thing. You don't want to underfill it. So it can cause problems either way. Usually, when you first check it before you drain the oil, and if the oil is where it's at, you can measure what you took out, put it right back in what you took out. So you took out 26 ounces, you can just put 26 ounces back in. And you can see we got the oil right back up to where it needs to be, right at the top of where the changes shape there, and we're good to go.
Alrighty.
Just kind of wipe things up a little bit. We'll do it again at 300. A couple hundred more miles and a person riding around town, and then we'll change it again. That's how easy it really is.
Sounds good. So next time, I'll try and do it myself. This should be an adventure.